Welcome back to the Beauty Lab podcast. This is episode 9, and today I have the privilege of interviewing my co-host Monina, all about exfoliation of the skin. Welcome to the Beauty Lab podcast, your drive time resource for all things beauty, health, and wellness. We're your hosts and favorite beauty nerds, Monina and Velia.
Join us as we debunk myths, explore the latest trends, and dive deep into the science behind your favorite products. We'll interview industry experts and answer your burning beauty questions in 30 minutes or less.
So, Monina, you know that I am overly obsessed with exfoliating my skin. But in episode 3, Lazy Girl Skincare Routine, we talked a little bit about exfoliation.
Yes.
So I'd like to dig a little deeper into that today and start off by explaining to everyone what is exfoliation.
Okay, so yeah, sure. Thanks, guys, for joining us again. And I love this topic. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to try to make sure I say things in a very understandable way because exfoliating is really, really beneficial to the skin. So let's first talk about the definition of what an exfoliation process is. So basically, exfoliation means the process of removing dead skin cells. Because I think in that episode, we also talked about how from head to toe, you create 1 billion cells every night. So exfoliating that dead skin is going to be super important for the health of the skin. But in a nutshell, exfoliation is the process of removing dead skin so that the new skin that's coming through, you can actually see, right?
Okay.
Now, when you talk about not exfoliating the skin on a regular basis, then you're going to start to see buildup. And when you see that buildup, that's when the skin starts to look grayish or dull. And then you're also going to see more clogged pores, things like that. So a benefit, obviously, then is we're promoting that cellular turnover. Mm-hmm. And let me explain a little bit what cellular turnover is again. Cellular turnover is your body's ability to create new skin cells, and we're constantly replacing the old skin with new skin. And when you were younger, that process took a much shorter amount of time, like every 21 days. It's almost like you had a new face. Right? Your skin just looks nice and supple when you're younger because that cellular turnover is happening on a regular basis. And as you get older, with the buildup and things like that on the skin, because of product, because of just debris and things that are going into the pores, your skin starts to look really dull and lackluster. So a benefit would be increasing that cellular turnover so that we're seeing the new skin. You're also decreasing the clogged pores. And when you decrease the clogged pores, the skin is actually going to have less breakouts, right? And your pore size, we talked about this too, looks like it's shrinking, right?
Yeah.
So in addition to exfoliating, you're also going to enhance or see an enhancement in efficacy of absorption of your products. So if you're using serums, moisturizers, when you don't have to go through all that dead skin buildup, you're going to see that you're using less product and the product is actually working better for you. So those are a couple of the benefits of exfoliating the skin. Also, over time, you'll start to see less fine lines and wrinkles and hyperpigmentation as well over time because you are exfoliating and letting that cellular turnover actually happen at a more healthier pace.
Wow, there are so many benefits.
Yes.
That people probably don't even realize.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a step that you definitely don't want to overlook, and you definitely want to start incorporating it into your daily routine.
So are there different types of exfoliants, or like what would you recommend, and explain a little bit about the different types?
Sure. And if you didn't listen to, I think episode 2 where we talk about skin analysis, it's going to be super important for you guys to understand what skin type you are, because when I start recommending a couple of these different types of exfoliants, that's going to come into play. So we'll add that.
That's actually episode 3.
Oh, that's episode 3.
Episode 3 is skincare.
So we'll add that to the show notes for you that don't know what your skin type is, because again, it's going to be very helpful.
Cool, that's fun.
Yeah, and moving forward, anytime we talk about skincare, it's really important for you to understand what your skin type is. Okay. So going back to your question, yes, there's different types
Okay.
of exfoliants. So they're usually broken up into 2 categories.
Okay.
So the first one is a mechanical exfoliant, and the second one is a chemical exfoliant. And let me break them down for you. A mechanical exfoliant is also called a physical exfoliant. So that's probably what you're mostly used to seeing. So it's usually that little green that you feel like in your cleansers. And when you put it on your face, you can feel like these little microcircle beads. That is a physical or a mechanical exfoliant because you're actually using something abrasive. And what you're doing is you're helping to remove the dead skin so that the new skin can come up and you can see it, right?
Love that feeling.
Oh yeah, that's why you love exfoliating so much.
I do.
Right? And I mean, I
Scrub,
do too. Especially if you have really oily or acne-prone skin, keeping those pores open and clean is so important. That's why you want to add some type of an exfoliating step into your weekly routine.
Okay.
And we'll talk about frequency in a little bit as well. So examples would be like coffee grounds, sugar, things like that. Also like those facial scrubs or sponges. Those are all considered a physical or mechanical exfoliant where you're physically removing the debris or the buildup on the skin. Okay. Now that's for a physical exfoliant is best for people with normal to oily skin. And you still want to use it sparingly because you don't want to irritate the skin, okay? People with more sensitive skin or drier skin, you don't want to use a physical exfoliant too often.
Okay.
And again, we'll talk about frequency in a little bit. Now, moving into the other type of exfoliant is what we call a chemical exfoliant. And you've heard terms like AHAs, BHAs, things like that, right? So we have things like called acids and we have things called enzymes. So the different types, if you break it down, is the first one is they're called AHAs or alpha hydroxy acids. And in that family, I know.
Come on, yes.
In the AHA family, we have things called glycolics or lactic acid. Those two are really great for people with more dry to sensitive skin types. Our BHAs would be our next group of acids or chemical exfoliants. So that's BHA, which is a beta hydroxy acid.
Okay.
In that family, we have something called a salicylic acid, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of because that's actually, you'll see that, a glycolic or a salicylic in your cleansers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the salicylic is more ideal for people with oily or acne-prone skin. And that's because the salicylic, as opposed to the glycolic, the salicylic is more effective at breaking through the oil bonds in the pores. So if you have oilier skin or acne-prone skin, you're going to want to reach for a salicylic as opposed to a glycolic. The glycolic helps too, but the salicylic is much more effective if you have that type of skin. And again, that's why you want to know what your skin type is. And then the last set would be considered, we call them enzymes. So I'm sure you've heard of enzyme, and those are usually derived from fruits, fruit acids. So things like papaya, pineapple. I have blueberries. When you come in, I have so many different types, right? Even a strawberry enzyme is also really good. So those are the different types of chemical exfoliants. So it's exfoliating using those topical acid agents.
Okay.
That's your chemical exfoliants. Now, the enzymes is best for people who have those clogged pores, uneven texture. It does give you more of a deeper exfoliating without physically scrubbing the skin.
Okay.
So remember how I said the mechanical is best for normal to oily skin, but if you've got drier skin, you're more sensitive, an enzyme is probably less irritating on the skin for people with more sensitive or drier skin.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize. Yeah, that made a lot of sense actually. So I love like when I go in and get a facial and you do like a chemical peel. Would a chemical peel be like a type of exfoliation?
Absolutely. So because we're also, again, going back to the different types of chemical exfoliants. So when we do a chemical peel, the difference is when you come in for a chemical peel, and of course you want to go see a licensed esthetician to do a chemical peel.
Yes.
Because the chemical peel is basically a treatment where we're applying these chemical agents in layers onto the skin. And this is for a deeper exfoliating process.
Okay.
Because you might be dealing with scars or pigmentation, things like that, and you just need a deeper type of an exfoliant. And actually, let me explain to you what a chemical peel actually does. So a chemical peel, yes, it's an exfoliant, but what we're doing is it's considered a controlled burn.
Ooh.
I don't want to scare you guys, but it's basically what it's doing is we're tricking the body into thinking there's trauma on the top layer of your skin, because what happens is when we trigger some kind of trauma, it's also the body's going to trigger the healing process or the creation of new skin cells, which is mitosis. So we're tricking the skin into thinking we need new skin cell ASAP.
Okay.
So when you're doing those layers of the chemical peel, based on what you're trying to target, will dictate which chemical agents you're actually going to be using. But you're layering it, and from there, what you're doing is you're causing the exfoliation to kind of start from the inside out. So you're really going deep, and that's what a chemical peel does. Now, the different types of chemical peels will be determined by what you're trying to target. So if you were to come in and tell me, oh, I have a lot of pigmentation issues, well, then I would do a chemical peel that has more of a glycolic or a kojic acid in there, because those two help to brighten the skin, help to reduce the appearance of the melanin on the skin, it evens the skin tone out. And in fact, kojic acid and another ingredient called tranexamic acid are actually what we call tyrosinase inhibitors. So if you listen to the episode where we talk about skincare,
episode 3,
tyrosinase inhibitor helps to reduce the appearance of hyperpigmentation on the skin. So glycolic, tranexamic acid, kojic acid, those are all good for pigmentation. Now, if I'm trying to target acne, then we're going to use more of a salicylic or retinoic acid.
Okay.
Because that helps to combat the breakouts. It's going to help to control the oil production in the skin. And so over time, it'll help with the acne breakouts.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's 2 more skin conditions that I would treat with a chemical peel. And the first one is scarring. So if you have scarring, mostly the scarring I see is from people who had really bad acne breakouts in their younger years, and they've developed these scars. So that requires more of a deeper peel. So we're going to use something called a TCA, or a trichloric acidic acid.
Okay.
TCA. And that helps to just really smooth out and even out the texture of the skin. It's really great for people who've been dealing with those scars for many years.
Yeah.
And again, this is something that isn't a one and done. You may have to do a couple of appointments where you're coming in for a chemical peel. So talk to your esthetician, have a consultation with them, tell them exactly where you're trying to target, and then from there, she can create kind of a roadmap for you.
Okay.
And then the last thing I will treat for using the chemical peels is I can treat rosacea. So if you have rosacea, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's usually where you're getting that redness in the skin, and it just never goes away. We can help. I can't say we can treat rosacea because we don't know what causes rosacea, so there's no treatment for it.
Okay.
We could just put rosacea, what we call remission, because rosacea unfortunately is a skin condition that continues to worsen if you don't do something about it.
Okay.
We could put the rosacea into remission by using and helping with chemical peels and things like that in the aesthetic room. So with the rosacea, we're going to use things like oleic acid, mandelic acid, because very gentle. It's going to also exfoliate without causing flare-ups. Because people with rosacea tend to have a lot more sensitive skin. So someone with rosacea would never recommend a mechanical exfoliant, because it's just too abrasive and it's going to cause those flare-ups to happen. Okay. Those are the different types of chemical peels and the different types of conditions that we can treat.
Okay. Wow. All right. So how often should we be actually exfoliating our skin?
Yeah. Again, it'll really come in handy for you to know what your skin type is. But this is the frequency. So if you're more on the dry or sensitive skin type, you want to exfoliate 1 to 2 times per week. Because you're dry or sensitive, you want to maybe lean more towards the enzyme type of exfoliant. If you have oily or acne prone skin, 2 to 3 times per week, and you could use the BHAs or the enzyme types. And again, the BHA has the salicylic acid in there. If you're more on the normal combination, 2 to 3 times a week, and you can alternate mechanical and chemical. I would never suggest do both on the same day. It's just too stripping. It's too harsh on the skin to do both on the same day. So yeah, you can alternate. So maybe on Monday you do a mechanical, on Wednesday you do a chemical exfoliant. So
Can you do everyone a favor and link what products you would recommend? Because
yeah,
there's a lot of chemicals and stuff that you've thrown out there, like big, long, 30-letter words that everyone is probably like, how do I even find I can't even begin to repeat any of those things. That particular type of acid or whatever. And I know some of the things are like, you know, in treatment room only, like by an esthetician, but like for at-home maintenance, can you do us a favor and just link?
Yeah, so in the show notes, what I'll do is I will definitely link my favorite exfoliants, both mechanical and chemical exfoliants, and we'll list on there like which ones are good for what skin type.
Okay.
And just wanted to throw out there too, one note about chemical peels. The difference between what I'm going to be linking for people to use kind of over the counter for personal use is going to be different from a chemical peel, because the chemical peels, yes, we're using the same type of acids, but it's in a higher form. So that's why when we say chemical peel, it's only done with an esthetician because we're talking the percentages are a lot higher. And so we're going to be able to control that and do it in a way that's not going to harm the skin, but yield us the benefits. Right. And then also how to take care of your skin after a chemical peel. Well, on that note, best practices, guys. If you are going to do a chemical peel, you definitely want to wear sunscreen. I mean, you should be wearing sunscreen anyway. So if you didn't listen to our other episode about your basic skin routine, sunscreen is in there. That is one of your basic steps that you should be doing every day. And that is because when we start doing chemical peels or introducing these exfoliants, it does make your skin more sun sensitive. So then you're going to be a lot more sensitive to being outside and then causing pigmentation, which we don't want to do. I mean, that's the whole point of this, you know, trying to do the chemical peels and helping with the pigmentation. So yeah, you become much, much more sun sensitive. And an SPF of 35 is fine. I find that after 35, some people say there's 50 and 100. 35 is fine, but you want to reapply. You know, if it's the sunscreen, you want to reapply every 2 hours.
Wow, that's because you know you do want to protect, like if you're spending all this money and all this time like getting your skin to be like pristine, the least you could do is sunscreen.
Yes. And again, the most important thing is, especially after a chemical peel, because your skin is very vulnerable. You may want to consider just going home after a chemical peel and not going to like a ball game or something. You want to really, really take care of that skin. Think of it as like brand new skin, because that's what you're doing, is you're causing new skin to come up quickly and you want to protect it. Yeah.
Okay, well that was awesome information. I do have a question from our listener, but before I ask that question, if you've been following along and listening to our advice and you've applied it in any way, let us know in the comments what we've done or what we've said to help you, because that really is important to us.
Or clarify, like if maybe we said something and you're just like, that went over my head. Can you please like explain that a little bit more? I mean, please let us know. We would really love to hear from you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so question from our listener. This is from Stephanie in Buda, Texas. And I actually snagged this at the right time because this is very relevant. Sometimes the questions aren't super relevant, but this one's very relevant to our topic today.
Awesome.
She said, I want to start using an exfoliant, but the last time I tried, the most popular one was St. Ives Apricot Scrub, and I was laughing when she said that. If you don't know what St. Ives Apricot Scrub is, you're probably really young.
It's been there. That scrub has been out on the market for a very, very long time.
I haven't looked, but I wonder if it's still, it probably is. I'm sure it is. And it really feels like someone took apricot pits and just pulverized them and throw them in.
It's gritty.
It's very, very, very gritty. So anyways, I tried using apricot scrub. It was really abrasive. What else can I use?
Okay, so first, I just want to explain why this is really relevant. She said it felt abrasive.
Yes.
And it probably caused irritation in the skin. And remember how I talked about a physical or a mechanical scrub? That's what this is, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the active agent is exactly what you said. It's crushed nutshells.
Mm-hmm.
And a proper physical exfoliant should look like microspherical beads, meaning it has a smooth surface. Because what you're doing is, yes, you're applying those beads on the skin, but you don't want it to scrape and cut the skin, because that is what we call micro tears in the skin. So what she experienced was, yes, the exfoliating agent was the crushed nutshells. That's exactly what it is. So when you look under a microscope, instead of looking like smooth round beads that are just sloughing off, they're actually jagged edges. And so those jagged edges, as you're applying it to the skin, yes, it's removing the dead skin, but it's causing little micro tears in the skin. And that's why people who use exfoliants like that will end up looking red, and I mean their skin may look beat up because they've caused so much little micro tears, and now they're flaring up.
Yes.
Especially if you're acne prone.
Yes.
So that inflammation kicks in, and now you're red, and you've got these micro tears. And now that's going to lead to breakouts, it's going to lead to inflammation. And unfortunately, when you do micro tears like that, you're also causing something called TEWL, so TEWL, which is topical epidural water loss. You're literally releasing water, which we need in our skin. Yeah. Oh, another tip, not just scrubs, but I really highly recommend if you're using those cotton rounds or cotton balls, that it says 100% cotton. Because if it doesn't say 100% cotton, there are ingredients they throw in there that do cause those micro tears in the skin.
Okay.
So sometimes people think, oh, my toner or whatever I'm using is causing me to flare up. It probably isn't the product, it's probably the cotton round.
Cotton round? Wow.
Yeah. 100%. Please make sure it says 100% cotton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So help her, Monina. What is she supposed to use instead of apricot scrub?
Okay, so Stephanie, first thing is, please write in and tell me what you think your skin type is. Because again, based on your skin type, then I can recommend, is she going to use a chemical exfoliant? Is she going to use an enzyme or a physical exfoliant? But even if it is a physical exfoliant, we want it to be we want them to be microspherical beads and not cutting jagged edges. Like the crushed nutshells. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So you'll link depending on skin type.
Yes, depending on skin type, we will list which exfoliants are best for you.
All right. So check the show notes, Stephanie. Okay. Awesome. So now it's time to do a product review.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And
product review today. Okay. So these actually, Velia introduced this to me. She was telling me how she uses this overnight, right? And the results were so amazing. I wanted her to explain a little bit more how this works, because I've never actually tried this. She just introduced this to me, but I know this is all over TikTok.
Yeah.
And they're called frownies. They're called facial patches. And if any of you have ever tried this, please let us know if it worked for you. But I'm going to have Velia explain it, because I haven't personally tried this, but I've seen such great results on her. So I'm going to have you take it away.
So these facial patches, by the way, we are not sponsored by Frownies in any way. We're not getting a kickback for saying that this is amazing. It's the most unassuming little pink box. So this is the deal with Frownies. You have these little patches in here, and you wet them, and you stick them on your, like, if you have like 11s, which I do, and then like wrinkles on your forehead. The idea is that this is like, instead of Botox, which the way that Botox works is the injection, the medication that they inject paralyzes your muscle.
Right.
So like wrinkles, right, Monina? Wrinkles don't come necessarily from your skin being wrinkled. It comes from
the muscles under the skin, like just, in life, like as we're talking, and if you notice, like when you're talking to someone and you're really intense, like your brows furrow, right? But over time, because you're doing that, you're breaking down the collagen. Yeah. The muscle is causing the skin around to also contract, and so then you get those lines. So what this does is it literally casts. You put you put it on, you wet it, and then what happens?
Yeah, so you break them apart, and they have all these different little perforations in them, so you can like make whatever shape you want. But and this is a terrible like explanation, because if you're only listening, this is like, you're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. So just look up frownies.
Frownies, yes.
Like brownies, but with an F. And so you take these little guys and you wet them, and then you stick them on your skin, and they basically create a cast. You have to overlap them in a specific way. Again, check out frownies. And then when it's dry, it basically doesn't allow your muscles to like contract and move and all that. So when you wear these overnight. So when you wake up in the morning, you peel it off, and your muscles have not been able to like move and create those wrinkles in your sleep. Your forehead is like smooth, like no trace of wrinkles whatsoever.
I'm looking at a wrinkle. I mean, your wrinkles. I'm looking at.
And I haven't used these in a hot minute either. And my 11s, their little lines right here
between the brows.
You can use them on other places on your face. Again, check out brownies. And it's not like you use it once and then that's it. Like you're supposed to use them like every night. But the more you use them, the longer the results last.
Sure.
So that's like really cool. And these are like, I want to say something like $20.
Yeah, they're very affordable.
And like these patches will last like at least a month if you're doing this like every day.
Every day? Wow.
I hope I'm representing that properly, frownies.
But yeah, I'm going to definitely try, because I'm definitely starting to notice my 11s as well. And I noticed yours looks so good, so smooth.
Yeah, so instead of Botox, if you're like on the fence about Botox, or if you're like young and you're like, I don't want to start doing Botox yet, like there is a time and a place for Botox. Sure. And of course, this is like something you have to sleep with, or whatever, every night.
Yeah, put it on every night.
And like I'll tell you, for me, I wore them like for about 5 days straight, and then the results lasted for about 2 weeks. For like and then I started noticing, because I'm very expressive.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we talk with our face.
Yeah, we
so
talk with our face.
We write in our brows. Like, and the reason why it's so beneficial at night is because when you're sleeping, believe it or not, your face is still moving. You're doing all kinds of things to your face, contorting it and stuff. But having that cast on there prevents your muscles from moving, which is why when you wake up in the morning, there's less.
Yeah, I sleep like a crazy person. Like I don't know if I've done it since I was a baby, but I like squish up my face, and I have my hands like covering my legs. So I know, like, I even like think about it as I'm falling asleep. Like, this isn't going to be cute in the morning. But also, just for a little extra tip overnight, like if you're using like a silk or satin pillowcase, that will also help like not create wrinkles. But brownies, we love them. Love them, love them, love them. 10 thumbs up.
I'm going to try it and then also write a little bit about my experience.
Yeah, and if you've tried them, we want to know.
Let us know.
Yeah. So that is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us again and again and again. I'm Velia.
I'm Monina.
And until next time, keep experimenting with your beauty routine.